like things. Your little bad mind face.
Can you imagine someone trying to knock me dead with their car?
Yes, Kanyantui, Jibu,
I can't tell you guys everything.
I don't care. Mwanaume ni kujitegemea. He has a new food business now.
Jeff, you know the father? Father Gitano of Catholic Church, of course I know him.
No, I am going to the principal's office to solicit your removal from this school. You cannot yell at me like that.
Well, welcome to KBC's Lunchtime News. All eyes will be on the High Court this afternoon, given that the courts are set to say if the impeachment hearing against the Deputy President, that is Rigathi Gachagua, that is before the Senate, that is set to kick off from Wednesday to Thursday, will continue or not. We'll be bringing you those details and so much more in the next 1 hour or so. So talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 2. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim, the sign language interpreter. At the bottom of the screen is Susan Thuku. Let's get to update you on what is happening here in the country and beyond our borders. We start off with a story where Majority Leader in the National Assembly, that is Kimani Ichung'wah, has maintained that the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will be impeached by the Senate following his ouster by 282 members of Parliament in the National Assembly. Speaking at an event to award scholarship to students pursuing higher education, Ichung'wah said that Parliament is now eagerly waiting to see who President William Ruto will appoint to succeed Gachagua. The Kikuyu legislator notes that the August House will interrogate the preferred candidate before they are officially sworn in for the said position.
There was a lot of speculation that Rigathi Gachagua wants to resign.
With the Senate expected to interrogate and render their verdict on the fate of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's political career.
And the Senate shall then investigate the matter in plenary on Wednesday the 16th and Thursday the 17th of October 2024. The Senate is accordingly guided.
The debate over who will succeed him if successfully impeached rages on.
Beyond here is up to the president, and whatever names he sends to us, we will look at the name and be able to approve.
The Majority Leader in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, says that the second-in-command's die is already cast.
We want to congratulate the National Assembly for doing justice. Comrades, power. Power. Number two, we want to remind the Senate and put the Senate on notice that it is us, the people, versus them. Comrades, power. Power. We are therefore calling upon the Senate that the justice that was served to this nation by the National Assembly must therefore again come from them. Comrades, power. Power.
As the judiciary, we are looking forward to the judiciary and the Senate as well. So we trust them and we know that they'll serve justice, because us personally, we are tired of this divisive politics and things that are bringing a sort of a section of the country is benefiting and another section is not benefiting. Then funny enough, somebody is breaking it out very clearly that indeed this is what is happening.
That matter is before the Senate. You know, now I'm not at liberty to discuss matters that are in the Senate. I will only pray that they do what these young people have told me, to finish, kumalo.
This is after 282 members of parliament sided with Kibwezi MP's Mwengi Mutuse's sponsored motion that cited 11 reasons why Gachagua is not fit to hold office.
We are not settling any political scores. What we are doing is holding people to account. We are holding people accountable. Part of the reason why President William Ruto did ask both the National Assembly and Senate or Parliament to amend even our standing orders to bring cabinet secretaries to answer to questions and statements from the public through their elected representatives was to hold cabinet secretaries and everybody in cabinet accountable. You have seen an impeachment motion against a cabinet secretary, and you saw how it went. You have now seen an impeachment motion against the deputy president. You've seen how it went in the National Assembly. And you will see in both instances the merits of each case and the issues that were looked into before the vote. Therefore, impeachment is a process provided for in our constitution to ensure that there is accountability in government.
The Kikuyu legislator now says that Parliament is preparing itself to interrogate the nominee the head of state will appoint if Gachagua is impeached. Article 149 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 states that within 14 days after a vacancy in the office of Deputy President arises, the President shall nominate a person to fill the vacancy, and the National Assembly shall vote on the nomination within 60 days after receiving it. In addition, Ishungwa dismissed the notion that MPs are finding it difficult to visit various places for fear of their security.
Nikuulize, hawa ni wanyama ama ni wananchi? Mimi nimeshinda Kikuyu leo, hawa sio wanyama, ni wananchi tunatangamana nao. Na najua wale wachochezi, wale uliona wakimobilize watu ile siku ya public participation, wangetarajia na wangefikiria ya kuwa watu wana shughuli na mambo ya siasa. Wananchi ni wananchi werevu, na yale mambo unaona kwa social media ni mambo. Hata jana niliona wakisema hata Shongo asijui amepigwa na nani anipiga, na atanipiga kama amenishika wapi mimi.
This comes as religious leaders and Kenyans alike have called for sobriety as senators are set to undertake the exercise from Wednesday and Thursday. Of course, the process is set to kick off, that is tomorrow all the way to Thursday, but we're keeping a close eye on the High Court where Justice Chacha Mwite is expected this afternoon to make a ruling on whether to allow the session to go on or not. We're keeping an eye on the corridors of justice, and our reporter Ruth Wamboi is on the ground. Elsewhere, 2 people, a man and a woman, were killed after being struck by a vehicle in a Decimo area of Kiambu constituency. Now, the vehicle, a new Prado Land Cruiser, was later found burnt at the scene. Kiambu Police Commander Pius Mwanthi reported that the victims were crossing the road when the accident occurred. The driver of the vehicle reportedly fled the scene, prompting local authorities to initiate an investigation to determine the ownership of the car and the circumstances leading up to the crash.
There was a vehicle which was going moving toward the Ruaka general direction, and on reaching at the scene of accident, it knocked down 2 pedestrians, a female and a male, who died on the spot. Our officers responded very fast, immediately to the scene, both the traffic and OCS, Ruaka and this team. However, the members of the public, because of what had happened, they became very violent, and in the process, they set ablaze the vehicle that was involved in the accident. It's a new, doesn't have a plate, a number plate. It's a brand new vehicle.
And in other news, traders in Homa Bay County have raised concerns over the increasing insecurity in the region following recent attacks on 2 traders by armed criminals. The traders say they have resorted to closing their shops early to avert an potential danger. Now led by Jack Nyambega, the chairperson of Homa Bay Town Sub-County Traders Association, they are now calling for regular police patrols to improve the security situation. Meanwhile, Homa Bay Town Police Commander Emmanuel Kiplangat has assured the public of speedy investigations into the incident as efforts are being stepped up to restore peace and calm in the area.
Mambo ya patrol ianze mapema, ianze saa moja, na tunaomba maaskari wetu wawe chonjo juu hii wizi imekuwa too much in Homa Bay.
We have intensified our patrols. We have also created lockups whereby standby personnel are in town. We are now operating with the DCI.
Elsewhere, a family in Naivasha County seeking justice after their kin was allegedly shot by a police officer outside a nightclub during a show by visiting Jamaican reggae star, that is Glenn Washington. Jimmy Ngugi, a 30-year-old man working as a trader, escaped death narrowly after he was allegedly shot on the neck by an officer attached to the critical infrastructure police unit. Now, Hannah Washeke, the mother's victim, narrated how she got a call that her son had been shot on the neck while attending the night concert. Trouble is said to have started after the officer allegedly urinated on the victim's motorcycle that was parked outside the club, leading to an argument witnessed by members of the public. Confirming the incident, Naivasha CID boss Isaac Kiambu said investigations are underway.
So nilishindwa alishutiwa wapi saa hizo. Huyo mtu alikojolea pikipiki yake kumuuliza, akatoa bunduki na akamshoot. Serikali tu ituangalilie tu maneno kama hayo. It is very painful. Nasikia uchungu mwingi sana kwa roho yangu. Huyu kijana ndiye breadwinner ya kwake. Mimi sina kazi stable. Atafanya aje?
Nataka serikali iangalie kati historia ya police brutality. Juu wanatumia power yenye ifai kwa mtu mwenye hata anakosa.
Ombi langu kwa serikali ni haki iweze kutendeka, like wafanye justice, because that man shot our friend and is out there roaming freely, and we also fear for our security. Juu hatujui nini anaweza tufanyia because alituona.
Residents of Malindi constituency in Kilifi County are said to benefit from chief's offices and police stations in a bid to boost security in the region, courtesy of the area of Member of Parliament, that is Amina Mnyazi. Now, she says that this will reduce the high rental cost and lack of office spaces incurred by the administration services. Speaking during the official opening of the new chief's office in Barani Sub location, Mnyazi said more plans are underway for a police post in Kijetwenga sub-county location after a 5-acre piece of land was donated by an Indian investor for development purposes.
Upande wa usalama niwe nimeweza kujenga zaidi ya police post 4 hapa ndani ya Malindi, so that tuweze kuimarisha usalama wa watu wa Malindi. Chifu wangu, nataka nikwambie sisi mwaka huu tumeweza kujenga ofisi za chifu, nafikiria ni 3. Kuna hii ile moja kule sehemu za Jilore, na kuna nyingine ambao tunakwenda kuweka jiwe la msingi.
Elsewhere, hundreds of Sikri residents in Rachonyo South Sub-County, Homa Bay County, have benefited from a free medical camp organized to address the rising cost of healthcare in the region. The camp was set up in response to the financial barriers that prevent many from accessing essential medical services, as out-of-pocket expenses remain a significant challenge. The county outreach coordinator, Molly Ochar, highlighted that the Social Health Authority SHA continues to hinder access to health for many patients, forcing them to forego medical visits even when they are in need of care.
Currently, as a county, we are using the community health promoters to do the registration. So, but by the time they do the registration, even our officers, most of them are lacking the login credentials in our facilities. So we are tasked to send our patients to the SHA headquarters where the services can be complete. But as much as you can see now, all these patients here do not have the SHA registration. So as burials, they've taken an initiative to register people on SHA, yeah. But we still have to go to the headquarters so that the process can be complete because of the problems with the digital credential logins.
The government has underscored its commitment to eradicating practices that infringe on human rights, especially those targeting girls and women. Principal Secretary of the State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action, Anne Wangombe, stated that such retrogressive customs have no place in the progressive society. She further urged communities to leave behind traditions that perpetuate violence and discrimination.
To stop the vice. We want to dissuade them from vice because there is no much development that can be achieved if we continue with gender-based violence.
When you cut the network of a woman, you have denied an opportunity to be a full woman. So I'm encouraging our parents, kindly, there are other practices that are godly, there are other practices that are encouraged, and you must also know that it is a crime. If you're caught cutting a girl, you will be jailed, both the parents and the person who is cutting.
Now, a group of youth in Laikipia County has lauded the affordable housing project in the county for offering them an opportunity to make a living. They said the project has gainfully engaged them in technical jobs. They urged the youth to embrace technical jobs instead of over-reliance on white-collar jobs.
Na kutoka nikuje huku nimeishi kufanya hii kazi ya mjengo na wale wanaume unaona pale. Na wapenda sana, wamenitoa bali na hii kazi imenitoa bali.
Na nilipata hii job January hapa kwa HP, that is Nanyuki Affordable Housing Project. Na nimefurahia sana kwa sababu mimi kama youth at least nafanya job napata kitu. Ile time mingi ndio niko job, so nafurahia na time mingi si yuko idle.
Compression status tuko at 65%, though tulikuwa tunapaswa kumaliza project ishe last month. Kutoka project ianze tumekuwa na wanafunzi more than 100 coming for wamekuja kwa internship na attachment.
Mbere North Member of Parliament Geoffrey Roku has defended his support for the ouster of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, saying that a disruption in government hurt development. Now, the lawmaker argues that regions such as Mbere North have undergone tremendous growth in the last 2 years, and it is necessary to protect the gains made under the Kenya Kwanza government.
We have a major problem as far as Isiolo Hospital is concerned, Siaka Hospital is concerned, and our dispensaries. So what we request with a lot of respect, na tukuwe tumenyenyekea, county government of Embu, tafadhali muangalie maneno ya hospitali zetu. Na tutahakikisha tuko karibu na serikali ya Mheshimiwa Rais, ili atuletee pesa ya serikali ya Jamhuri ya Kenya kutuwekea barabara rami, kutujengea damu ya Kamumu, kutujengea na kutuwekea stima na maji ya kunywa na kulima.
The government has held talks with warring factions to avert an invasion of the disputed Mwea settlement scheme in Mbere South Sub-County, Embu County. Now, in the day-long meeting convened by Governor Cecily Mbarire and County Commissioner Jack Obuo, alongside all parties involved in the dispute, it was agreed that the pending invasion be cancelled forthwith to give dialogue a chance. The two further called for factions to end incitement, threats and inflammatory remarks, with offenders being warned of legal action.
Hatuwezi tatua hili jambo na meeting moja, na hata hatuna ile capacity ya kutosha ya kusema tunaweza tatua jambo kama hilo. kwa sababu it's a legal process, it's also a serious security issue ambayo lazima sisi wenyewe tuwe very careful what decisions we are making. Kwa hivyo tumekubaliana ya kwamba number 1, mambo yote ambayo ilikuwa imepangwa ya Thursday ya kuingia katika hiyo shamba kwanza ikome kabisa.
Tunajua kwamba kuna temperatures, kuna watu wengine wanaona wamedhulumiwa, lakini tunaeleza ya kwamba security itadumishwa, particularly Makima. Watu wa Makima wasikuwe na waziwazi, kwa sababu tumeongea na wale beneficiaries ambayo walikuwa na mpango ya kuenda huko na kuna hofu yoyote.
Meanwhile, Kiambu County Government has commissioned 109 early childhood development education centers. Governor Kimani Wamatangi says the move seeks to encourage enrollment of more children in the centers that are spread across the county.
The symbolic commissioning of Gitiha Early Childhood Development Center in Githunguri Sub-County is part of a larger project of commissioning 109 brand new ECDE centers across Kiambu County. Equipped with all the necessary facilities for a smooth learning environment, the initiative under the Leave No Child Behind slogan will facilitate a high enrollment of registered learners.
We had about 32,000 children kwa shule zetu zote za chekechea. Kwa huo muda wa mwaka mmoja, we have now about 40,000 children wamerudi kwa shule.
The second phase of the project is already underway with 138 ECDE centers under construction, expected to be ready by December. Governor Kimani Wamatangi adding that he has an ambitious plan to build 500 centers.
Kwa shule za academy malipo iko juu, ambazo ni private. Huyo mtoto ataweza kwenda apatiwe chakula, apatiwe uji, maziwa ama kitu kingine ya kula. Ndio wanaweza kukaa kwa hiyo umri.
The initiative has been hailed as a move towards the right direction towards improving education standards in Kiambu County. Isufar reporting for Lunchtime News.
Public health workers without service certificates are at risk of suspension. Principal Secretary for Health, Mary Muthoni, warned the workers that may lose their jobs have been urged to follow all the conditions to serve from the ministry. Now, speaking in Machakos after meeting with the workers, Muthoni said that most of the public health workers have abandoned their duties, including patrolling schools, homes and meat and food outlets, to inquire about the maintaining of cleanliness standards and urge them to be vigilant while executing their duties.
We are talking about personal hygiene, we are talking about environmental hygiene, water and sanitation. When you look at those three areas, those are the areas where if you do not take care of that, you get minor ailments like waterborne diseases. With the rollout of our community health promoters, the 107,000 community health promoters, we are seeking for collaboration between the health workers and the community health promoters to ensure that there is interrelatability and there is also coordination and to give our people at the bottom of the pyramid the information they require.
And now to our top story this afternoon. I want to take you live to the corridors of justice, especially at the Milimani Law Courts, where we're being joined by our reporter, that is Ruth Wamboi. And of course, Ruth, good afternoon. If you can hear me, good afternoon. What more can you tell us? Have the senior counsel representing the Deputy President as well as the National Assembly and other parties in this particular case already arrived at the courts?
Naam, asante sana Hashim, ukiwa pale studio. Utaniruhusu niongee kwa lugha ya Kiswahili kwa niaba ya watazamaji wetu ambao waelewi lugha ya Kimombo. Na kama nilivyo hapa, niko kwenye lango ambalo kesi hii ambapo tunangojea Jaji Chacha Mwita katika mida ya saa 8:30 anafaa kuja hapa ili kutoa kutueleza ama kueleza koti ama kueleza wahusika katika kesi hii ni uamuzi upi ambao ametoa. Tunakumbuka kwamba mnamo siku ya jana hapo mawakili wa naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua waliweza kuleta malalamiko kwamba wanataka seneti isiweze kukaa kwenye vikao vyake ambavyo vinatarajiwa kuanza hapo kesho na siku ya Alhamisi. Kwa hivyo walipokuja hapa kotini waliomba koti kwamba iweze kusimamisha hicho kikao ambacho seneti inafaa kuanza kuketi kuanzia hapo kesho kujadili mswada huu. Na hivyo basi Jaji Chacha Mwita baada ya kusikiza pande zote husika aliweza kuamuru kwamba atatoa uamuzi wake siku ya leo ili kuamua ni vipi, ni mwelekeo upi amechukua katika baada ya kupata malalamishi ya pande zote husika. Kwa hivyo ni jambo ambalo tunalisubiri kwa hamu na hamumu kujua ni vipi Jaji Chacha Mwita atakavyo kuja kueleza pande husika ni vipi ameamua. Na vile utakumbuka hivyo jana pia Jaji Mkuu Martha Koome aliweza kutoa kuchagua majaji watatu ambao wataweza kusikiza kesi zote zilizowasilishwa humu nchini na naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua, na aliwachagua majaji watatu wakiongozwa na Eric Ogolla, Freda Mugambi na Anthony Murima. Majaji hao watatu ndio wamepewa jukumu ya kusikiza kesi zote ambazo zimewasilishwa na naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua kote nchini. Kwa hivyo ni jambo ambalo tunalifuatilia kwa karibu sana, na tutaweza kuwapasha watazamaji wetu punde kesi hiyo itakapoanza mida ya saa 8:30. Kwako Hashim.
Shukran mwenzangu Ruth Wamboi. That is Ruth Wamboi just informing us on that particular determination that will be brought forth by none other than Justice Chacha Mwita. And of course Ruth will be bringing us the latest from the courts in regards to whether the impeachment hearing and determination at the Senate will continue or not, if the courts will side with the various motions the Deputy President has brought forth with his battery of lawyers that are being led by none other than Senior Counsel Paul Mwite. Now elsewhere, Isiolo County Teaching and Referral Hospital has denied claims of mishandling a patient who was under intense care at the facility. According to head of the intensive care unit at the hospital, Franklin Mutuma, the medic strike in the county a week ago forced patients to seek medical care from other facilities. Mutuma further clarified that the patients continue to receive medical care despite the medic strike, where she responded well to the medication and was in a position to be discharged from the home-based care. Mutuma termed the allegations are not true and is aimed at painting the hospital in a bad light.
Our client treated professionally with a lot of empathy, and even our medical records reflect the same. It's part of my profession is to take care of the health and well-being of my clients, and doing this is with a lot of care, with a lot of respect, and with a lot of dignity that they deserve.
Now back to the political space, where a section of women drawn from Mount Kenya region have asked President William Ruto to intervene in the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua ahead of Wednesday and Thursday Senate sittings on the matter. Now, to foster unity of purpose, the women leaders said the President and his deputy ought to reconcile and move the country forward.
Hakuna makosa duniani hii haiwezi kusamehewa. Kwa hivyo kama kuna mambo Deputy President makosa alifanya, hata sisi wamama kwa niaba yake tunaomba msamaha. Kama mambo imefika mahali imefika, iwe ya kwamba hakuna mambo ingine itawezekana ama imefika mwisho. Tunataka hiyo kiti ya Deputy President irudishe Mount Kenya, kwa sababu hiyo kiti ilikuwa ya Mount Kenya. Na ukifanya hivyo tunaomba Gavana wa Kirinyaga Ani Waiguru, yeye ametosha.
Tunakuomba tu, hiyo miaka imebaki miaka 3. Msikilizane, mfanye kazi pamoja. Lakini Mungu akiwa ameamua itawezekana. kama yule dada yangu amesema maneno ya Waiguru, tupatie hiyo kiti irudi Mount Kenya na irudi kwa mama, na mama huyu tunataka apeo hiyo kiti, tunataka apeo Waiguru our governor.
And now let's get down to business. Experts are raising concerns over the influx of immigrants, citing disease outbreaks linked to undiagnosed immigrants, children harboring infectious disease. Now, according to Mount Kenya University Director of Research and Innovations, Dr. Francis Makoha, there is need to scale up research and implement robust screening and surveillance measures at entry points to prevent a further outbreak of disease like Mpox. He is also calling for more funding to support innovations and implementation of preventive measures.
Is it possible that the government, together with international partners, ensure that all these children coming in have been immunized, at the right time? They have all the immunization. And even the people coming in are screened for other infectious agents that are not in the country, so that if they have them, they are treated before it spreads to other people in the country. So that's what immigration is.
And of course, we're keeping an eye on various stories that are making headlines at this hour, and we'll duly inform you, especially from the corridors of justice. You've just heard earlier on from none other than Ruth Wamboi. We'll be going back to the courts at exactly 2:30. Now, motorists are steadily embracing either liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, or compressed natural gas to power their vehicles in a drive to reduce running cost. The key difference between the two is that while LPG is a liquid that has a petrol component, natural gas is a cleaner gas that does not have petrol. Now, Taka Dalit, Tanzania Managing Director, that is Ismail Abshedi, says that natural gas is 50% cheaper when compared to petrol.
A long queue of tuk-tuks and vehicles lining up to either convert vehicles to start using compressed natural gas or refill their tanks with compressed natural gas.
Everyone, when I say gas in Tanzania, they perceived it as LPG. So LPG is liquefied petroleum gas, where the component of LPG is almost 96% petrol and 4% gas. Tanzania has a lot of natural gas reserves, and it does not have any liquid or petrol product as a component of it.
Even though there are many such operators in Tanzania, the station in Pugu Road Airport area, Dar es Salaam, is preferred since it's automated. Motorists fill up their tanks quickly with higher capacity, reducing air intake during their refilling process.
The difference in prices between compressed natural gas and petrol and diesel is 50%, which is a very tangible and considerable amount of saving for the fueling cost.
Mastergas Takadal Bit station was contracted by Takadal Bit. It is a joint venture between Takar Arabia and Genuis Continental Group Oil and Gas, which focuses on investing, developing, building and operating compressed natural gas filling stations and conversion centers.
It is considered as a cheaper, cleaner, affordable and reliable source of energy.
Takar Dalbeat Master Gas Station's selling point is its innovation and technology.
1 kg gives around 9 to 11 kilometers.
The target is to open 3 more such automated compressed natural gas filling stations in Tanzania, with a long-term plan to have 12 stations across the country by 2027.
It is a friendly environment as it decreases the carbon dioxide emissions by 25% as compared to petrol and diesel.
It costs about 100,000 Kenya shillings to convert a car to start using compressed natural gas.
Well, it is exactly 34 minutes past the hour. We're taking our first commercial break on KBC's Lunchtime News. But don't go too far. On the other side of the break, we'll be coming up next with an interview in regards to how the real estate industry is faring on amidst the economic meltdown. Has the demand gone up or gone down? Those are the conversation we'll be focusing. Already my guest is here. She is the Chief Executive Officer, Username Investment Limited, Sarah Wahogo. You don't want to miss that.
We asked the children, how many of you brushed this morning? And this little boy, his hand didn't go up. And I said, well, why didn't you brush this morning? He said, my brother was using the toothbrush. If I'd waited for him, I would have been late for school. I'm sorry, I get a bit emotional when it comes to that. To be able to change a child's life, to be able to bring back that confidence about their smile, for me, is phenomenal.
Karibuni, hii ndio base ya the best local entertainment.
Sitakubali ukalie kiti cha umiliki katika kampuni ya mume wangu.
Tell me where my money is, and I'll make this quick and painless.
You don't know what they do to girls like you.
I think it's a little unfair. Nakujua vizuri sana. Na jombesi wangu vizuri sana. Hauwezi akakuandika kazi. No.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, before we continue with the stories making headlines in the world of business, we want to focus on our interview this afternoon. We're focusing on the real estate industry and how it is faring on in the country. Joining us this afternoon is the Chief Executive Officer, Username Investment Limited. That is Sarah Wahogo. Sarah, good afternoon and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Hashim.
Yes, maybe the first question will be, Sarah, tell us how is the industry faring on right now?
The industry is really stretched, and the business is quite slow because of obvious reasons. Yes.
Which are those obvious reasons you want to know?
Obvious reason is that the economy is not performing very well because of the reduced borrowing purchasing power. Again, we all know that the borrowing interest rates are at northwards of 20%. That means that people who used to borrow to invest are no longer able to do it. So that leaves you with a very small percentage of investors who are able to invest. Yes.
And aside from the investors, the customers, what is not appealing to them? Is it the prices that you attach to these houses, or?
No. The biggest issue is the purchasing power, the ability to buy. Because, we have been in this business for a while.
Okay.
And the purchasing power in the previous years has been quite good. But now we have seen a decrease of the same. Yeah.
But we have seen modalities like, for example, Airbnb. We have seen so many people going into that particular venture. Such trends, are they not helping the industry to get back on its feet?
Yes. Those ones are helping the industry to grow. And the reason is, if you look at the traditional accommodation channels like hotels and the rest, Airbnb came to provide a fresh approach, which was cheaper. Automatically, that would tell you that most of most people who would be looking for accommodation would be going for the cheaper option. Yes.
And of course, given that you said right now, due to the economic meltdown we're witnessing in the country, given that it is gradually coming up, aside from a pandemic and of course some of the shocks we have witnessed around the globe, but what are some of these measures you have been put as stakeholders, not just as in your organization, but as stakeholders in the industry, to ensure that you're at least cushioned towards the effects of this economic meltdown?
Repeat that again.
I'm saying, if You clearly stated that there are a lot of challenges,
Yes.
especially economically.
Yes.
So what measures have you put in place as a company or as stakeholders in this particular industry to cushion yourself against the effects of that meltdown?
We have taken a number of precautions, and especially towards our clients. So these days we give longer repayment periods. We have also been giving discounts. We listen more to our clients now, just to ensure that we cushion them, because many of them would want to invest, or only that there are a number of challenges out there. Yeah.
And we've seen the market, at least it's a little bit saturated. We've seen many houses coming up. So you're saying on one end that you're not doing well, but we're seeing houses coming up. Does that not translate to how the industry is faring on?
By the way, the demand against supply, the supply is too low.
Okay.
Looking at the demand for housing in Kenya today, the government and the private developers are not able to meet the demand. As much as maybe from a layman's perspective we could say houses are coming up, still we are not able to meet the demand.
And of course we have been seeing at least the affordable housing project coming in. So how are you at least complementing or trying to compete with this affordable housing project, given that the government wants Kenyans to be home owners, as opposed to you, the people in the private sector, who wants to do the same but at a higher price?
We are complementing the affordable housing agenda, and the way we do that is by providing affordable land to investors, because we all know that the cost of land is probably the highest percentage of the cost of owning a home. So we are able to acquire huge properties. We take advantage of the economies of scale, and we are able to get that same property to investors at a very reasonable rate. And from there, then it becomes much easier for a homeowner to develop their home at a very reasonable cost. Yes.
Maybe in your final remarks, given that we've come to the end of our interview here, are you collaborating with the government to achieving this affordable housing project? Or aside from land, where else are you collaborating in? And in your final remarks, give us, what are you looking for? How will the sector fare on in the coming years?
We are very optimistic in the coming years that the sector and the industry will pick up, because these are temporary shocks. And we hope that the industry will be able to overcome them very, very soon. But as I said before, we complement the government to ensure that we are able to provide affordable housing for Kenyans. So we collaborate in the sense that if you are a developer and you want to develop affordable housing, you can approach the ministry to give waivers, to give taxes, and that means that you are able to deliver the developments to Kenyans, even at a much more affordable price.
Thank you so much. That is the Chief Executive Officer of Username Investment Limited. That is Sarah Wahogo, just updating us on what is happening in the real estate industry and how they're complementing with the government when it comes to the affordable housing project. You do know that is the main key program under the Better program run by this current administration. So thank you so much for making time for us this afternoon, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Hashim. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, now we continue with other stories making headlines in the world of business. The Ghana Trade House has been hailed for the supportive role it plays in enhancing exports from Kenya. Now, Starmark Marketing Executive Director, that is Chris Senanu, says Ghana Trade House and the Trade House have increased their product portfolio to over 650. Now, he says that Ghana Trade House is impacting 107 manufacturing companies with diverse products ranging from cosmetics, food, cocoa products, fabrics, wellness and art.
The operations of the Ghana Trade House in Nairobi, and once that is done, that becomes the springboard for us to move across the region and beyond the African continent. So we are happy that this has been achieved. We only want to say a big asante to the government and the people of Kenya, because I don't think there are too many Ghanaians here to come and buy the product. It's the Kenyans that have accepted this made in Ghana product.
A year ago, and we were in collaboration in trying to ensure that there's a presence for Ghana Trade House in Kenya.
Elsewhere, Davis and Shirtliff has invested 60 million shillings in expanding access to clean water and energy in Kenya. Davis and Shirtliff CEO George Mbugua says initiatives by the company have directly improved the lives of over 1.5 million people over the past year.
Leadership on these water projects is paramount because they need to be, the community needs to be coordinated so that they can have a peaceful and cohesive use of whatever facilities are provided, but most importantly, so that it can be sustainable. Our purpose as a group is improving lives through provision of water and energy solutions across Africa. And if you are going to improve lives, it's not only for the customers who come to your shop, it's also for the communities, where the members of communities who may not be able to afford, but really need your solutions.
And now let's get sporty. The FKF Electoral Board has officially closed the submissions window for nomination papers for the national level for presidential aspirants and their running mates after 9 aspirants made their presentation yesterday ahead of the Football Kenya Federation national election set for the 7th of December this year.
Among those who submitted the documents is the current FKF Vice President Doris Petra, who will be vying the top seat, deputized by the outgoing FKF President Nick Mwendwa.
Tashinda kura. And I think on December 7th, you guys will be there and witness what I have said.
We look forward to doing more together. And nobody should cheat you. We are a team with a larger board that we are going to have in place.
Former FKF CEO Barry Otieno is also eyeing the top seat alongside Lucy Kidinji. Extreme Sports CEO Hussein Mohammed was not left behind as he was joined by the former Harambee Stars midfielder McDonald Mariga, who will deputize him if the electoral board verifies them.
Tumeweza kuzungumza na electoral board na tumewakilisha hizi documents zetu. Kwa hivyo mimi nina imani ya kwamba they will do the right thing. Na sasa imefika wakati wa kuingia ground. Tukaombe zile kura kwa delegates.
Other candidates are in the top seat include among them Kakamega Ombo's chairman Cleophas Totoshi Manyula, who will be deputized by Twaham Barak.
Katika kinyang'anyiro hiki kwa nguvu zote. Na tumesema kwa sababu tumekuja hapa kwa sababu wale vijana wetu Gen Z na wale vijana kule ndogo kutoka kule mashinani. Tunataka to make sure hii kiti tuichukue, na mimi ndio kitu nimefanya mimi na biashara zangu mingi, lakini kufuatana na mambo ambayo yanafanyika hapa nikasema hapana, kama nitafanya wacha tuweke biashara kando tuangalie sports.
Former FKF President Sam Mwea will be deputized by Patricia Mudheu, Esther Malila, eyes the top seat alongside Berry Lokwach. The others are Chris Omolo, with his deputy Anthony Macau, as Sam Ochola will be deputized by Willis Walihola. The Electoral Board will verify their documents between 18 and 19 of this month, while the preliminary list of the successful candidates will be published on the 21st of October. Elected officials in the December 7th elections will serve the Federation as per the 2013 Sports Act.
Also, Zimbabwe thrashed Namibia 3-1 in Group J to boost their chances of qualifying for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, with Cameroon, Algeria, Burkina Faso and host Morocco having already secured their slots with 2 matches to go.
Zimbabwe are now second in Group J with 8 points following that win, 4 ahead of Kenya, who must win their remaining 2 matches against Zimbabwe and Namibia to harbour any hopes of advancing to the Africa Cup of Nations finals after losing 1-0 to Cameroon yesterday. Namibia are out of contention, having lost all their matches. The indomitable Lions of Cameroon, who led Group J with 10 points, have already secured their place in the African showpiece with 2 matches remaining. Algeria qualified from Group E, where they beat Togo 1-0 to add their tally to 12, 5 more ahead of second place Equatorial Guinea, who beat Liberia 2-1. Burkina Faso have already booked their ticket in Group L, which they lead with 10 points, 3 ahead of second placed Senegal. Meanwhile, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have boycotted today's match away to Libya over what they termed as inhumane treatment after they were stranded.
Now to Europe, where Germany beat Netherlands 1-0 to progress to the quarterfinals of the UEFA Nations League after Jamie scored on his debut. Now Belgium lost to 2-1 to 10-man France as Randall Kolo netted a brace, while Italy thrashed Israel 4-1. Spain will face Serbia, while Scotland will play Portugal at 10 p.m. tonight. And don't forget, of course, the UEFA Nations League continues tonight with Spain set to take on Serbia and Scotland will play Portugal. And of course, it will mark the conclusion of the UEFA Nations League and other friendlies that have been played across the globe, meaning that this weekend your favorite teams will be playing. And of course, the game week 8 of the English Premier League will be opening up with a London derby. That will be Tottenham against West Ham. And of course, to the United fans, they will be facing Brentford, that is just fresh off from beating Wolves 4 goals. And of course, that marks the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Do join us in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Welcome to the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, or KDIC, a state corporation established under the KDI Act Cap 487C. KDIC, safer, stronger, together.
Wananifurusha hapa, mimi nimelelewa hapa. Na wewe nani alikwambia kwamba hii nyumba ni ya babako?
Kaka. Saideje Kalum?
Una mashani ni mpenzi wangu?
Tumenita nini?
Unasema uongo baada ya machafu yote kakako aliyokufanyia?
Mimi kuna kitu sielewi kabisa, mimi sikuelewi.
Wala siko tayari kukuelewesha, umenisikia?
Mimi nimekuwa huko nje miaka mingapi? Mbona haikuwa aibu jamani?
Let's get
What's up, everyone? How are you doing? Welcome to yet another episode of this amazing show where you get to know everything that is happening in the world of entertainment, and specifically when it comes to the events going round in the country. And just before we get into the events that made headlines over the weekend, how about we talk about this story that has been talked about in the interwebs, or rather on the interwebs, and that is Set It. The song apparently has been pulled down, and it is being said that AJ of Brooklyn Boys together with his team are the ones who pulled it down, saying that, you know what, Diana Cobbs cannot have it all for herself.